Right now at noon, a blast of Arctic weather in southern Wisconsin, when we can expect things to warm back up. Plus, Trump administration officials expect to meet with a Russian delegation to discuss a path to ending the war in Ukraine. What Ukraine's president is saying about the talks. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us on this very chilly Monday afternoon. I'm Josh Breiter. We begin with today's extreme cold. Temps will only be in the single digits, while bitter wind chills will make conditions feel even worse. First Warn meteorologist Savannah Brito is here with your certified most accurate forecast, and it is like a slap in the face, Savannah.
I know. As soon as you step foot out the door, and that's how it's going to be now through Wednesday, that's when your alert day conditions will remain in place all across southern Wisconsin. Early, we're still tracking wind chills that are as low as -20 to -25 in a couple places, but we're hanging on to what feels like -10 degrees right now. The worst are going to be the morning hours. That'll be Tuesday, and then a little bit of an improvement Wednesday, but not by much. That's the -10. The wind chill currently in Madison, -17 in Janesville, but there are a couple areas that are as low as -20 to what feels like -25. -20 is the wind chill in Platteville. We're sitting at -22 in Viroqua and -20 in Black River Falls. Temperatures only in the single digits all across the map. 4 in Madison, 7 in Verona. So there are a couple areas that are slightly better than that, but we still are struggling to get out of those sub-zero air temperatures in Prairie du Chien, Viroqua, La Crosse, and Black River Falls. And temps are only going to get a whole lot worse tonight, and that'll be really through early to mid-morning Tuesday. And then we'll finally start to see a little bit of an improvement, especially by the end of the week and Sunday. Really looking forward to that temperature that'll be above freezing level on Sunday. It'll feel like, I don't know, 60 degrees almost, Josh.
Break out the shorts.
Exactly. I'm sure there will be people that do that.
Just got to get through the next few days. All
Exactly.
right, Savannah. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Sounds good.
Remember, you can track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn weather app. It has hourly forecasts, road conditions, and the latest radar. Download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather. Well, on top of the frigid temperatures, Madison is under another snow emergency. That means alternate side parking is once again in effect. Right now, your car should be parked on the side with odd-numbered buildings. You could be fined or towed if not. The snow emergency continues into tomorrow morning. That means overnight tonight, you should park on the even side. This allows crews to clear the streets more easily. You can also park overnight for free in city garages. Just remember not to park on the top floor if it's exposed from above. That's because crews will have to clear that level out as well. With all of the snowfall, a local snow removing company is lending a helping hand to Dane County residents. Jackson's Yard Care of Sun Prairie is offering free snow removal for those in need in Dane County. We had the opportunity to speak with the owner of the company on why he feels it's important to help your neighbor.
Multiple crews out there in the Dane County area. And what we really want to do is really reach out and touch our community and bridge that gap between business and local community. And we really want to just provide free service for people in need, people that haven't got outside due to some maybe illness or whatever the matter may be.
Jackson's Yard Care isn't the only one helping out. Some college students are clearing snow as a way to pay for school. It's through a company called Snow Scholars. It offers homes and businesses near campus the opportunity to hire a student to clear their driveways or sidewalks. The company's CEO and founder started the business in 2022 while studying at UW. He started with 30 customers and expanded to 600 near 6 college campuses in 3 states. He recently landed a deal with Mark Cuban on Shark Tank and hopes to continue to expand. Right now, even with the cold, officials are warning people of unsafe ice. It comes after 4 fall-ins across 2 locations over the weekend. On Beaver Dam Lake, 3 snowmobilers fell through the ice. 2 fell in while riding together Saturday afternoon. Another person fell through in the same area the following morning. Then on Sunday morning, the Fort Atkinson Fire Department responded to a fall-in on Lake Koshkonong. Luckily, none of the 4 people suffered any injuries. The Dodge County Sheriff's Office advises people to contact local bait shops before going out. They often have information on ice depth and dangerous areas. And it bears repeating, no ice is ever 100% safe to be on. Well, today some folks are enjoying an extra day off of work thanks to President's Day. The federal holiday falls on the 3rd Monday of February every year. It is officially named for Washington's birthday in honor of America's first president, George Washington. Although his actual birthday is February 22nd, President's Day has broadened to commemorate President Abraham Lincoln, who was born on February 12th. The U.S. Postal Service and non-essential government offices are closed. Most bank branches will also be closed, and U.S. stock markets are not trading. This afternoon, the Trump administration is pushing forward to try and broker a peace deal in Ukraine and save a ceasefire deal in Gaza. Natalie Brand reports from the White House.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio arrived in Saudi Arabia Monday ahead of scheduled talks tomorrow between Trump administration officials and a Russian delegation about ending the war in Ukraine. President Trump commented from Florida.
We're moving along. We're trying to get a peace with Russia, Ukraine, and we're working very hard on it. It's a war that should have never started.
The president has said he could meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin soon, following their phone call last week. But Secretary Rubio says there's still a lot of work to be done.
The next few weeks and days will determine whether it's serious or not. Ultimately, one phone call does not make peace. One phone call does not solve a war as complex as this one.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine was not invited to the talks and any deal made without them will not be recognized. Secretary of State Rubio's trip to the Middle East comes as he's also in the region to discuss the future of Gaza and the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said he and the Trump administration are working in complete coordination.
We have a common strategy, and we can't always share the details of this strategy with the public, including when the gates of hell will be opened, as they surely will if all our hostages are not released.
Rubio said the U.S. is not in favor of waiting weeks and weeks for all hostages to come home. He also said Hamas cannot continue as a military or government force. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
In addition to being in Saudi Arabia for talks about Russia, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is also discussing President Trump's plans to resettle Palestinians out of Gaza so the U.S. can take over the Strip and redevelop it. Pope Francis needs a change in his medical treatment after tests indicated a, quote, complex clinical picture. According to the Vatican, the Pope had a polymicrobial infection of his respiratory tract, which will require further hospitalization. The 88-year-old pontiff was admitted to a hospital in Rome on Friday for a respiratory tract infection. The Pope did not lead the weekly prayer on Sunday. This is only the second time that has happened in his almost 12-year-long run. No word on when he may be released. Still ahead for us this afternoon, if you have a question or concern about your plants or garden, now's the time to send us your questions via email to tips@channel3000.com. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company will join us later in the broadcast with the answers. Again, that is tips@channel3000.com. But first at noon, why some Amazon workers are voting not to unionize. Plus, good news for YouTube TV users. The new deal keeping some big-time channels on the platform.
YouTube TV and Paramount have struck a deal to keep all of Paramount's channels on the streaming platform. Just days ago, an agreement appeared to be in limbo after contract talks deteriorated due to carriage fees. In a statement, YouTube TV said it was happy the deal was reached to carry Paramount's offerings, which include Showtime, Nickelodeon, and CBS. Amazon workers at a warehouse near Raleigh, North Carolina, rejected a proposal to unionize over the weekend. More than 2/3 of the facility's 2,000-plus workers voted against the proposal, which was launched by Carolina Amazonians United for Solidarity and Empowerment, or CAUSE. Representatives from CAUSE said they were already bracing for the loss ahead of the vote, which ended on Saturday. An Amazon spokesperson said it's glad the workers chose to maintain a direct relationship with the company. And it was a marvelous opening weekend for Captain America: Brave New World, debuting atop the box office with more than $88 million domestically, with that number expected to soar to $100 million by the end of the holiday weekend. Sequel Paddington in Peru clawed its way to the number 2 spot with an estimated $13 million. Slasher flick Hard Eyes took third with roughly $10 million. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Carissa Lawson.
No stock report today. Due to the President's Day holiday, the market is closed. This reminder, the Spirit of Service campaign is underway as we look to honor our local veterans, making a positive impact in the community. News 3 Now is partnering with Vortex and giving back to veterans. All you have to do is log on to channel3000.com and nominate a veteran in your life doing something good. Over the coming weeks, we'll be sharing their stories, and you'll get a vote and choose which veteran gets to take home a $5,000 cash prize. A winner will be announced in early April. Straight ahead at noon, Savannah returns with a look at how long these frigid temperatures will be around for. Then later on Live at 4, we talk to CBS News correspondent Scott McFarland about how the president's tariffs could impact you. Pam Yankee is off this afternoon as the ag markets are closed for President's Day. Well, this afternoon, Kentucky is bracing for more flooding after torrential rain created deadly flash flooding. At least 11 people were killed over the weekend. On top of the flooding, parts of that state got hit with snow, and more storms are expected this week. In Bowling Green, the area normally gets around 4 inches of rain for the entire month of February. It got 8 inches in just 2 days.
We are still in the search and rescue mode. We're working as hard as we can to save as many lives as we can.
Parts of Kentucky are expecting another weather system in the coming days. The governor says the main concerns are strong winds, and that could uproot those trees in those loose, waterlogged soils. Well, these bitterly cold temperatures across Wisconsin will be sticking around for a few days. Here's meteorologist Savannah Brito with the first warm forecast. There is light at the end of the tunnel, though, Savannah.
There is, and we're going to see that already by Thursday and Friday, and especially Sunday into early next week. That's when we could even be talking about above average temperatures. But yes, it's dangerously cold, and that will continue with your alert day conditions now all the way through Wednesday, and that will be Wednesday afternoon and evening too, because wind chills are still forecast to be sub-zero. We could see as low as -15 to -20 even during those afternoon and evening hours. But then as we get past the morning, basically into the next day, Tuesday, we have another extreme cold or cold weather advisory going into effect. Just west of the area, though, there is an extreme cold warning in place for out in Iowa and then portions of Minnesota. Temperatures, the air temperature struggling to make it to even 10 this afternoon. Will stay in these single digits. Some of us range between about 5, 6, 7 degrees across Dane County, but northwest of Madison, there are still air temperatures that are sub-zero as low as about -5. But we'll see a high of 5 over the next couple of hours, and then we fall right back down. We're forecasting a low of -12 tonight. That's the air temperature without the wind chill factored in. These are current wind chill values, -16 in Mineral Point, -10 in Madison, so there has been some improvement, but these are going to plummet right back down once we head into those early to mid-morning hours. That's when wind chills and conditions will be the worst. So over the next couple of hours, we'll see wind chills still factored in and continue to drop pretty quickly this evening, and then especially again through tonight. So about 6 p.m., an air temperature back down to 0, and then we'll see a wind chill of -20. -24 with an air temp of -6. That's about 9 p.m. as we head into the midnight hour. -8 the air temperature, -26 for the wind chill. And we'll probably see wind chills as low as -30, maybe a few spots that are going to get down close to -25 to -35. The cold weather advisory, though, that didn't show on the map, but that will go into effect tonight at 9 p.m. and then run all the way until noon tomorrow. So it actually extends a little bit longer than what we did see earlier today. That did expire at 11 in the morning. We did see a lot of snow last week. That is helping a little bit with our snowfall deficit. This winter, now 16.9 inches. That includes all the snow we got last week. But our normal to date, this is all data based on the Dane County Regional Airport, December, January, and so far February, we should be at 32.9 inches. And snow is going to be really hard to come by over the next several days because it's going to be so cold and it stays pretty breezy. So there was really no good chance of precipitation, let alone snow in our forecast. But as temps warm up over the weekend, then into early next week, we could finally be talking about another system that could help with our drought conditions and our snowfall deficit. Our average high 32, which is freezing level. We're going to be nowhere near that over the next couple of days. Tomorrow and Wednesday, only a high of 8 degrees expected, but then there's the light at the end of the tunnel, 18 by Thursday. And then finally going to get back into the 20s on Friday, about 33 on Sunday, and then we'll finally be back close to the 40-degree mark, which that's above average. I showed that average high 32, so it'll feel much better once we're heading into Sunday and early next week, really looking forward to those 40s.
Lots of melting then, too.
Yeah, I know a lot of people probably aren't looking forward to that part of it.
Well, snow lovers will have to enjoy it while they can.
Yes.
Savannah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Today, Howard is stepping back in history in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
It's President's Day, a day to celebrate U.S. presidents. And since we're all about food here in the Test Kitchen, we decided to do a bit of research on some of our president's favorite dishes. Here's what we discovered. Our country's first president, George Washington, loved all kinds of fruits and preserves, especially cherries. Former President James Madison craved his wife Dolly's soft gingerbread. Rumor has it, it was to die for. Those who had a chance to dine with FDR knew that he loved cream chip beef, as well as, believe it or not, donuts. Ronald Reagan's all-time most requested snack was jelly beans, while Bill Clinton has always had a real passion for chicken enchiladas. So after all that searching around, the one recipe that really stood out was President Lincoln's favorite dessert created by his wife, Mary Todd Lincoln. It's been called her seduction cake since she used it as a way to make Abe fall in love with her while they were courting. It's simply a from-scratch cake loaded with ground almonds and finished with a basic white icing. To get the recipe, just go to MrFood.com and search Mary Todd Lincoln's presidential cake, so you can have one of Abe's most desired desserts as soon as tonight. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, wishing you a President's Day filled with lots of, ooh, it's so good.
Just ahead of noon, Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and gardening questions. You can email them to tips@channel3000.com. We have 0 right now, so you have 3 minutes. Please send us your questions, and Lisa will give us the answers next. Welcome back at noon. Lisa Briggs from the Bruce Company is here answering your plant and gardening questions. Just email them to tips@channel3000.com. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
Staying warm?
Oh, golly, it's cold outside,
isn't it? Outside.
Too cold to bring plants.
I know. So you kind of came empty-handed today.
I did, but luckily you guys had, I think these are left over from Valentine's Day.
They look really nice, don't they?
They do not look half bad, so I got them out of the corner and put them on the table.
Oh my gosh, at least we have some light at the end of the tunnel. Savannah's tracking warmer temps by the weekend.
Yes, but I'm going to miss, I hate to have the snow melt when the ground is still so frozen.
I know. It'll be interesting.
What are you going to do? Can't control Mother Nature.
All right, so we got a couple of questions. We're going to start off with Savannah. This may or not be our Savannah, but we're going to get the answer anyways. Savannah asks, how do you properly take care of a cactus? She says she always kills hers.
Okay, so the number one thing that kills cactus is overwatering. Number one. So cactus need very high light, so the brightest window in your house. And in the wintertime, they don't take a lot of water anytime, but in the wintertime, they take even less. So I always like to say that if your pot is, say, 5 inches wide, it's probably going to be, at this time of year, at least 5 weeks between waterings.
Wow,
so you really want to let it completely dry out.
That's a big deal then.
It is a big deal, because if you're on a sort of every week I have to water my plants kind of thing, that does not work for cactus. They really resent it, especially at this time of year when they're not actively growing.
There you go. There you go, Savannah.
You're welcome.
Question number 2 comes from an unnamed person via email. This person says that they brought plants in from the outside in the fall, and now they have little bugs on them and flying around. What can they do to get rid of them?
So if they're little bugs that are flying around and not necessarily on the plants, and the plants look good, like there's no sign of feeding or that they're in distress, what you probably have are fungus gnats. And fungus gnats are a little bug that sort of lives in and eats decaying matter in the soil. So you can treat that with a product called mosquito bits, which will wash through the soil and kill the larvae. Fungus gnats are like fruit flies. They only live a couple of days, but they are constantly regenerating themselves. So that is my best guess. If you have something that's crawling on the plants, take a photo and bring that into the plant desk. Our network is still not allowing emails to come in. We're hoping that's going to be restored by tomorrow.
Good vibes there.
Yeah, we're fingers crossed.
Next question comes from Linda. Linda says that her dahlia and cannabis in the basement are sending up small shoots and leaves. What should she do in potting them and bring them back to her sunroom?
She should definitely repot. If you have shoots going, they need some light. And keeping them down in that basement and sort of that dormant storage is not going to help. So pot them up in some plastic containers if you're going to put them out in the garden afterwards. And this is good because especially if you have like dinner plate dahlias, those take a long time to flower, so you're going to get a jump start on it.
All right.
So in a sunny spot, spare watering, but yeah, get them potted up.
Just like us, we like our sun, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially this time of the year. Lisa, thank you as always. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's get to Savannah with her final check of first warn weather. Hi, Savannah.
Hi, Josh. Thank you. We do have some sunshine out there, but it's not helping by any means, and temperatures are going to be very, very cold. Dangerously low wind chills. That's why we have alert day conditions in place now through Wednesday. But look at the light at the end of the tunnel. 18 by Thursday, 21 by Friday. That's still not near normal. We'll actually finally be talking about those near normal temps by Sunday, and then 40s, Josh.
We got this.
We do.
We're going to get there. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 4.